at Sanctic, there are many references to other games and media. The most prevalent of these being Call of Duty Zombies. For example, the ray gun and all of the sounds associated with the weapon are taken directly from Call of Duty Zombies. The whole endless mode is based on the round system of Call of Duty Zombies, and there are many more examples. I'll leave a wiki page in the description if you're interested to know about all of them. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that Homer is a pretty big Call of Duty Zombies fan. Can't say I've ever played the game myself though. Execution Room. The Execution Room is a small hidden room that you can only open with the golden key found in the teleport to office room in both classic and killer mode. Of course, you get given the badge once you enter for the first time, but what's strange is what's inside the Execution Room. There are many torture devices present, such as electricity lamp and random chains hanging below a surgery table. What's odd is the fact that this room has existed in Sanctic for the longest time, and nobody's really questioned its existence. I mean, even when long added to the game, the Execution Room remains. I mean, what's its purpose? Okay, its purpose is pretty obvious, you know, killing people. But who? Soldiers? Killers? Intruders perhaps? Nobody really knows. It's worth noting though that at one point there were even more torture devices in this room, such as a guillotine, an electric chair, and it even had a full-on dead person in the room. More information on that later down the episode though, so stay tuned. The Way Out. The Way Out is a classic Sanctic Easter egg that has been in the game since nearly the beginning. To get the badge, simply go back from the main area, enter the small soldier hangar on the left of the exit, jump down the trapdoor, and you'll find yourself in a small, dark, ominous room along with a pop-up reading Game Over. From here, simply walk into the "You Are Trapped" sign and you'll find yourself in a tunnel. Jump over a couple of pits of death and a few very easy to avoid spikes, and you'll reach the end. Bam, boom, you're done. Although this badge used to be really annoying to get, nowadays it's super easy to obtain. Like, almost too easy. You can get it in like 30 seconds with a YouTube tutorial. It's not really known why The Way Out was added into the game in the first place, or why it's even still in the game. It doesn't really seem to fit with anything else in Sanctic, but hey, it's still here. Sanctic 2. Sanctic 2 is or was a fan-made Area 51 game that was created by Mafia 1's friend Portal 1, now known as SP Portal, as an unofficial sequel to Sanctic. What set Sanctic 2 apart from the main game was having a huge map with various locations, many different types of killers, and all different references and hidden Easter eggs here and there. Around the time that Sanctic 2 came out, I think around 2016 or 2017, the main game, or Sanctic 1, was still pretty much a baby. I mean, there really wasn't much to the game, so what Sanctic 2 attracted a large audience to. Most notably, the people who found, the main game boring, it didn't have many updates, wasn't getting updates. Wow, things haven't changed at all in the past 7 years. However, as the months went past and Sanctic ultimately got better with the addition of new modes, killer pathfinding, and overall a gameplay experience that was just more enjoyable than Sanctic 2's and less buggy, the game would eventually be set to private by SP Portal sometime around 2017 or 2018, effectively shutting down all access to it. But that's not the end of Sanctic 2's legacy. Things get a bit messy around this point, but here's how the story goes. Sometime during the shutdown, SP Portal handed over the game files to a guy named General Punctuation to be Sanctic 2's new owner and creator, and the game was republished, although this didn't hold up forever. And of course, through many Roblox updates and changes, Sanctic 2 eventually broke beyond repair, and sees only a few players visit it each day, compared to normal Sanctic's massive player count. Sanctic 2 is a perfect example of where you try and push quantity over quality in a game, and due to the lack of updates, it ultimately falls beyond fixing it. And although I will praise the ideas the game has going for it, and I did make a standalone video on Sanctic 2 a while ago, at this point it's just another piece of Sanctic's bizarre history, and nothing more. I'll leave a link to the re-uploaded game in the description, because, well, some of the stuff in the game is quite creative and definitely worth a play. Hate and Rage. Hate and Rage are the two substances that possess and control the boss Aberration and her corrupted one minions. The black stuff being hate and the red glowy stuff being rage. According to Subatomic Sand, the Rage for Aberration, the corrupted ones, hate is the substance that gives them life, while rage is the substance that quote-unquote gives them purpose. It's not really known what Sam meant by this. Does hate enable the boss to control rage? Does rage give hate the ability to be controlled? I don't know, it's still a mystery. And we don't really have enough evidence in game to explain any of these theories. However, there is also a paper known as Paper 12 within the Wendigo area computer room that goes more in depth into the backstory of hate range, referring to aberration as subject B, and how the effects of hate are supposed to wear off after 14 months. Due to how Santic is most likely set years after Eric Ron was abandoned and how aberration is still being possessed with hate after we fight her in boss rush mode, I'd say it's pretty good evidence that rage was created to prolong the effects of hate. But why was it created? And who created it? Well, that's still a mystery. The Storming Aliens. The Ultimate Secret is one of the most well-known badges in Classic mode. Find the randomly generated 5-digit number around the map, put that code into the code machine, and bam, you find the alien killer and get a neat little badge for your troubles. Again, just like the way out, we probably all know how to get this badge, and it is required for the Area 51 personality, but after all, I'm sure many of you got that by now, so there really is nothing special going on there. What's interesting about the Ultimate Secret badge, though, is its description, stating that the alien is the first ever killer of Area 51. And, well, that can't be true, because Alien doesn't appear in Storming. And of course, if you've seen my timeline video, is that Storming is the first mode in the sector story. Well, okay, good aliens appear in Storming, but they never attack you like they do in Classic mode. But it's not really known why the alien appears in Classic mode and not Storming mode. I mean, clearly we freed all of the aliens within, Storming mode. We didn't miss any. There weren't any rooms that we didn't enter. So why does the alien appear in Classic mode? Well, nobody really knows. A bit of a continuity error like that. Little side note here, but a lot of people don't know this, but it's explained within Alien's case file that the reason why Alien is hostile in Classic mode and not Storming mode is because Alien in Classic mode has been brainwashed by a Russian spy during the Cold War. I don't know. It's two conflicting sides. You can either agree with the fact that the alien is the first killer and that it was missed during Area 51 Storming, or you can go against it. But it's certainly something to think about. Grisly reminder. This entry refers to the original main menu music that was in Santic before the 3 tracks we mentioned earlier were made to replace it in early 2022. The song that was used was known as Grisly Reminder by Midnight Syndicate, and the main reason why it was changed was as a response to Roblox itself nuking many copyrighted songs off its marketplace. And although it's probably never going to be added back to the game, sadly, it's still worth a listen if you're in for some nostalgia. Trust me, you can find it on YouTube somewhere. The Vault. The Vault is a small room found in the prison area of the map, and can be opened with the use of the keycard item found nearby in most of the other modes. And ever since the room was added alongside the Endless Survival update in late 2018, people have been asking for some type of killer to spawn inside it. Since in both Classic and Killer mode, there's nothing present at all within the vault. And I mean, it's not difficult to see why. I mean, why does the vault exist anyway? Why is it in the prison of all places? Maybe it, holds a prisoner inside? I don't really know. Like, why would you put a vault in a prison? That's kind of a large place if you want to store value next to loads of criminals and stuff. Well, maybe the prison is for, kids. That would kind of cool. But actually, though, the vault was given a purpose. In Endless Survival, the RH-70 spawns inside of it. Yay! Oh well, all we can do now is keep praying, I suppose. Maybe one day. Soft-locking the Juggernaut. There's a strategy within Sanctum Juggernaut that you can do as a survivor that, if done correctly, completely soft-locks the game and makes it near impossible for the Juggernaut to win. This strategy involves either waiting in the main hall or cargo area until you spot the Juggernaut, or wait for the Juggernaut in a circle around both locations and closing the doors behind you, so that the Juggernaut can never effectively reach you until the time runs out. Yeah, this strategy is as unfair and horrible as it sounds. And trust me, it happens to me all the time. In fact, that's why I stick to small servers and Juggernaut nowadays. Whenever I go into a large server, I become Leatherface as Juggernaut, I kill everyone, but there's always that one guy that sits in the cargo area and runs around the main area. In the hardware and 50 times in a row, I can't win, because the Juggernaut just isn't fast enough. The Juggernaut still needs a speed bump, just up the Juggernaut speed, it will fix everyone's problems. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some ways to counter these methods, such as closing the doors behind you as Juggernaut, or maybe the survivor can make a mistake and close the door on themselves, but you usually have to get lucky or have a ton of skill to get these nailed down. But yeah, if you're playing Juggernaut mode at the moment, just don't do this. Thanks, you're doing the game a great deal of good, You could sit in the cargo area, wait for the Juggernaut, but just don't run around the area 50 million times, it just slows down the game. Fan art. Fan art has been a staple of Sanctic since basically the beginning. The game's thumbnails use fan art, and you can find fan art pictures around the map. There's not really too much more to this entry besides this fact. I'm just glad the devs and Homer appreciate the work that people go into drawing characters for the game. And hey, fun fact, I drew the Sonic fan art in 2019. It's gross and ugly, I wish someone replaced it, but hey, it's in the game, I guess. Killer gender. Now, we all know that most of the killers within Sanctic have confirmed genders. Like, most of the killers taken from the media, like Michael Myers, Granny, Slenderman, those are obvious. But there are some that are more obscure and aren't confirmed. Like Alien, the Kraken, Zombie, and possibly even Wendigo I've seen be referred to as a she. Although this could just be down to an oversight. Like in Alien's case file, he's referred to as an it and a he. I don't know. Again, doesn't really matter. You make up your own mind on these. Survive in Area 51. Survive in Area 51 is another Area 51 game created by the developer Penguin.9999. It focuses more on the weirder side of Area 51, adding strange new dimensions, unique killers, and challenges with an entirely original map. And it's in the background of my videos all the time, sitting right there. I have made an entire video about Survive in Area 51. I will explain why there is a black and white image of the game, just chilling there, forever. It will always be in my room, for as long as I do YouTube. In fact, Penguin Doc even asked for the Master One if he could make the game. Also, he commented on my videos, so that's epic. But yeah, if you're looking for an Area 51 game that updates more often than Sector and has a cool community, then maybe this Area 51 game is for you. Go give it a play, link in description. Back to regular Sector for the rest of this iceberg, I promise. Zombie spawning mechanics. Most of the kills within Classic and Endless mode in Sector only spawned one free. For example, one Slenderman alive at a time, one Wendigo, one Jason, etc. But there's one killer that follows different rules to all of these. That one being the zombie, in where up to 3 of them are allowed to be alive at any one time, 5 if you include the Captain Zombie minions. I think this mostly comes down to the lore behind zombies. I mean, in the case file for the zombie, it explains how the zombies are like infected employees. You know, of course there's going to be more than one only infect one guy. But if they are infected employees, how can the previously mentioned Captain Zombie pull them out of thin air? Well, nobody really knows why. But what's certain is that the zombies are unique when it comes to spawning properties. The ray gun parkour. The ray gun parkour is a removed location that could be found at the end of the mineshaft area in previous versions of the game. The location displayed a set of bricks, forming a parkour area in which when the player reached the top, they could get the ray gun. Of course, now this gun location has been switched with the MP5K gun location, and the parkour has been replaced with the simple elevator. I'm actually really glad this change was made. Sure, the ray gun was OP, but was it really worth the whole parkour segment? I don't think so. But putting in the radioactive area, though, probably wasn't a good idea. Humans versus zombies. I briefly mentioned this earlier on the iceberg, but Humans vs. Zombies is another game that was made and created by Mafia 1, around the same time he was still working on Sector. It's a round-based game, which puts, of course, you guessed it, the Humans vs. the Zombies. It does also share many similarities with Sector, though, such as the art style and the background ambiance is the same. I'm not going to go too in-depth into Humans vs. Zombies here, since it doesn't really have much to do with Sector, and it's not being developed by Homer anymore, but if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. Beneath the Surface. Speaking of Homer's old games, another pretty famous one is Beneath the Surface, an Area 51 story game completely separate from Sector. Yeah, even before storming was a thing. Like the Sector 2 game we mentioned just a bit ago, Beneath the Surface is very much broken. Like, so broken you can't even beat the game. Yeah, the end cutscene just breaks. The story of Beneath the Surface revolves around you being trapped in Area 51, being tormented by the same alien that you could find in Sector being held in Rick's spawning room. And honestly, it's pretty cool seeing what we'd assume to be a background character given a new life. The game is also pretty weird, like it kinda just does whatever it feels like doing. That being random ghosts appearing out of nowhere, big holes to the void for no reason, and the laser stage. Although I'd say it's worth playing Beneath the Surface at least once. It's a step back in time for sure, but nothing beyond that I'd say, it's not that special. The Voltage Room. The Voltage Room is another mysterious room within Area 51 that, unlike the Execution Room that we touched on earlier in the iceberg, appears in all of the modes of the game. Well, almost located in Area 51, yeah, trying to be smart, are we? The only thing that you'll find in the Voltage Room, though, is of course some kind of electricity machine that, if you turn it on, instantly kills any player or killer that walks into it. There's also a separate button to open and close the translucent door that leads into the machine. Like the Execution Room, though, nobody